Thank you, Dr. Busby. Hello, everyone. My name is Lynn, and I will be talking about consumer demand for illegal wildlife products. So, understanding consumer demand is a part of U.S. national strategy. In the implementation plan, there's a call to focus on reducing demand for illegal wildlife products through targeted, evidence-based approaches to changing critical consumption patterns that drive wildlife trafficking at home and abroad. And the implementation plan states that effective strategies will need to be tailored to be country and species specific. So now I will talk about the nature of global demand using the examples of ivory and rhino horn. This map shows the global rhino horn trade. The main countries of origin are in Eastern and Southern Africa, and with the largest number of rhinos being killed in South Africa. Rhino horn is smuggled mainly through Southeast Asia, and Malaysia is the primary transit country. The main end markets are in China and Vietnam is the primary consumer market, with 36% of illegal rhino horns ending up there. This map shows the global ivory trade using information from seizure data. So as you can see, the map shows the primary origin, transit, and destination countries. China and Thailand nowadays are the primary markets for illegal ivory. Ivory also goes through Vietnam and the Philippines, but the markets there are much smaller. So for our paper on demand, we wanted to ask more specific questions, including demand for what products and why not other products? From where, what routes are used to traffic these illegal wildlife products, and by whom? What are the main characteristics of the main consuming groups? So to address these questions, we compiled existing surveys on demand, and we analyzed the methods used in demand reduction campaigns, and my colleague Leo will talk more about demand reduction campaigns in his section. And lastly, we also conducted interviews in China with conservation and public awareness NGOs. And we need to know these specific information so that we can tailor demand reduction campaigns, law enforcement efforts, and multilateral cooperation to effectively address particular groups and behaviors in the places that matter the most. So this chart shows a comparison of the illegal wildlife markets in China and Vietnam. So one of the main differences is that China is the primary demand market for ivory, whereas Vietnam is the primary demand market for rhino horn. But we did also find some similarities, such as the increasing shift from using wildlife products for subsistence and health to a show of wealth, or what we would call conspicuous consumption. Also, we found that the main consumer group is male, earning high income and working in the business and government sectors. And these consumers place a high value on the wildness of an animal, meaning the more wild an animal is perceived to be, the higher its value. This chart is a comparison of the ivory markets in the United States and China. In China, the demand is rising and at a peak, whereas demand is falling in the US. Up to 70% of illegal ivory nowadays is going to China. And we found that there are several reasons why demand is falling in the US, including good enforcement of the 1989 CITES ban on ivory, and also extensive use of media campaigns. And lastly, US consumers easily find and use substitutes for ivory products. We also found that there are similarities between the two markets, including buyers and sellers who work both markets, especially at auctions. So for example, a buyer will buy ivory in the United States, resell the ivory in China for a profit. And we found that ivory carvings are popular in both markets. So this slide is a recap of our main findings, and I'd like to draw your attention to the last point. The information we found suggests that increasing the capacity of law enforcement in demand countries may not reduce the main sources of demand, because those who consume illegal wildlife products likely hold positions of influence and authority. Okay, so now I'm going to hand it over to Caitlin. She is going to talk about the security aspects of illegal wildlife trafficking. Thank you.